Good evening. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, and the board meeting is now called to order. It is currently 6:00 p.m., and all board directors are present except Director Fuller, who will be absent this evening. At this time, First Vice Chair Harnish will read the land acknowledgement.
Thank you. We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day, and we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations past and present who have stewarded the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Native American and Indigenous students and staff of Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and strength of the Native American and Indigenous people.
Thank you. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Castaneda, are there any modifications to the agenda?
No, there are none.
Thank you. I will turn this portion of the agenda over to Superintendent Castaneda.
Thank you. So as always, we start with spotlights, and I'm going to do a little bit of light emceeing on the front end. This lovely backdrop is where we'll take photos, and we'll do them at the end of all of the spotlights. If you are one of our nominators or one of our honorees, you'll be honored up here and make comments, and then we'll meet up there afterwards. All right. So with that, I would like to introduce Ingrid Ceballos. Ingrid, there I see you right there. She is the director, she is a level director for elementary education, and she will be presenting our community spotlight.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Director, Superintendent Castañeda, and student advisors. Tonight, I am thrilled to recognize a pillar in our community that has supported education and literacy for many years. The Salem Public Library is an important partner to our schools and continues to spark a love for reading in learners of all ages. Improving literacy outcomes for our early learners is a substantial priority for our community. And the library is a vital resource that's always ready to support our students throughout their K-12 journey and beyond. Just this year, the Salem Public Library has given library cards to more than 1,000 first grade students. The Salem Library offers a range of events, activities, and programs during the year. And Sundays, we were talking about that just a little while ago. To help remove transportation as a barrier, they have a book mobile program that visits our elementary schools, bringing books and materials directly to our students at schools. The bookmobile has visited 25 elementary schools this year, benefiting hundreds of first graders across our district. The Salem Library also engages our students at multiple levels through their Reading Buddies program. This is an opportunity for emerging readers to spend time practicing the reading skills they learn in class with trained teen volunteers. This not only supports literacy, but also social-emotional development through positive connections. We are grateful for the Salem Public Library and all the resources it provides to our youth and families, from our youngest learners to our longtime community members. We all understand the power of reading and its impact on growth, and we honor the partnerships our libraries have with schools to strengthen, support, and improve outcomes for our students. Thank you.
I also would like to just add a few quick words on this. It was not much more than a year ago that our city voted to make a substantial investment in the library. And it's something that we talked about as a school community, but you guys also talked about as a board. And I just want to reflect back on that moment. This board wrote a letter of support on behalf of the libraries because it is such an important part of our community. And then I'll also just briefly say I have a very young neighbor. She only says to me, "Hey, neighbor." I don't know if she knows my name. She just knows that I'm her neighbor. And she is always smiling when one of two things is happening. When she is either in her leotard going to gymnastics, or she has her book bag and she's coming back from the library. And it's just, one small snapshot of all of the ways that libraries help keep us whole as a community and maintain our life of mind as readers, whether we are very small neighbors or whether we are teachers or superintendents or board members. So thank you, library. Second, I would like to introduce Renee Quiring. There she is, who is the principal of McKay High School, and she will present our staff spotlight. Sure. That's why there's two chairs.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, it's my honor to recognize an educator whose expertise is in providing our students with the literal tools for life. Marcia Lata, a CTE business and marketing teacher at McKay High School, but her impact stretches far beyond the walls of her classroom. Marcia has bridged the gap between high-level industry experience and student success. She currently serves as a vital member of the Financial Empowerment Advisory Team led by Oregon State Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner, and was recently presented with the Financial Empowerment Educator of the Year Award. However, Marcia's true gift is her ability to translate that state-level leadership into direct action for our youth. Through her tax clinics and financial literacy workshops, Marcia has created a hands-on environment where students don't just study numbers, they master them. Under her guidance, multiple students have successfully filed tax returns to receive their own refunds and are learning the complex art of effective investing. These aren't just academic exercises, they are real-world financial decisions that will positively impact their lives for decades to come. What truly sets Marcia apart is her commitment to inclusion and belonging. She's been a fierce advocate for women and girls, a group that often carries the weight of immediate family responsibilities. Marcia ensures these young women have the specific opportunities and financial fluency they need to support themselves and their families both today and in the future. We're incredibly fortunate to have a leader who brings years of professional industry expertise back to the classroom to benefit our students. Marcia, thank you for your dedication to financial equity, your mentorship, and for ensuring that every student at McKay leaves your room prepared for a secure future. Congratulations, Marcia.
Okay, and for our final spotlight this evening, I would like to call up Jamie Peters. She's our math program associate. He is our math program associate. Sorry, Jamie.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, we're proud to recognize outstanding students for their achievements in mathematics competitions at the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. We begin by recognizing our 4th and 5th grade Math 24 Challenge first place winners. The Math 24 Challenge encourages students to strengthen their mental math, problem solving, and critical thinking skills through fast-paced competition. Tonight, we're honored to recognize the following first place winners representing their schools. Our 4th grade winner, Ophelia Johnson from Shirley Elementary School. And our 5th grade winner, Caleb Espinoza from Liberty Elementary School. Next, we'd like to recognize the Leslie Middle School Pentagames team for earning first place at this year's Salem Regional Math Competition, which was hosted by Houck Middle School. Pentagames is a long-standing Oregon mathematics competition for 7th and 8th grade students. 40 years even. The competition includes 5 events throughout the day that challenge students both individually and in team problem-solving skills. It all culminates in a really fun final team relay event. Tonight, we're joined by Julian Fernandez, an 8th grade student who's representing the rest of the Leslie Middle School first place Pentagames team. Lastly, we want to recognize the students representing the South Salem High School math team. They competed at the Chemeketa Regional Math Competition. Each year, Chemeketa Community College hosts a regional high school mathematics competition that brings together students from across the area. These students compete in 5 levels of mathematics ranging from Algebra 1 all the way up through calculus. Participating students compete in individual events, team problem-solving challenges, and it also finishes with a fast-paced relay competition. Tonight, we'd like to recognize the following student representatives from the winning South Salem High School team. They are Luke Liu and William Stokes. And we really want to extend our appreciation to all the coaches, coordinators, educators, volunteers who support these students and help foster a love of mathematics, teamwork, and academic excellence. Please join us in congratulating these students for their hard work, teamwork, and dedication to academic excellence. Their accomplishments reflect the strength of mathematics education across Salem-Keizer Public Schools and their commitment to learning and perseverance. Congratulations.
Before we move on to our photos, for the audience, of course, those of you who are here to honor our honorees are free to leave. But I want to encourage anyone who has time to stay just for a few extra minutes because the Saxon Islander Club is going to be performing, and it will be worth it to stay for the 5 or 10 extra minutes and see their wonderful performance. And with that, we will meet up here for photos.
few pictures over here, and then I'll take a couple. Okay. On three, 1, 2, 3. I'll go one more. 1, 2, 3.
I don't think so. I think they're in us.
Hello, good evening. My name is Janet Linares, and I have the immense pleasure of being the mentor and teacher for the Pacific Islander Student Club at South Salem High School. The club started 5 years ago, right after COVID. Every year, we pick a topic to be our focus for the year. Last year, it was attendance. This year, we are focusing on scholarship. So scholarship scholarship encompasses placing strategies for the students to be successful on their journey to achieving a high school diploma, and giving them the opportunity to envision themselves continuing their education in higher ed. We also this year are focusing on what we call Islander Scholarship. It has 3 major components. 1, be a forever learner. 2, uplift your community. And 3, cultivate your culture and traditions. So, the students are very pleased to be here tonight to show you their Islander scholarship through dance.
Good evening. My name is Khalifa, and here we perform the Micronesian Chuk dance, Futanipuk. This dance represents the people of Chuk as navigators, journeying the sea of one mind and one heart, working together to reach their destination. The women are holding green strips, which represents the land. The dance represents the unity of Chuk, of people among themselves, and with their land and the sea. Thank you.
As our students leave, I just want to share that that was only a tiny, tiny fraction of the joy, pride, and volume at in the McKay gym during the graduation celebration 2 weeks ago, which was one of the most amazing graduation celebrations that I've been to. The entire gym was vibrating with that song, dance, and all of the community involvement in it. So I was so glad you guys got a small toned-down taste of a really amazing event. And if you get a chance to see more, I hope you find a way to do that. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
You're doing real good. Thank you very much. At this time, we will move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair. Every year, May is a spectacularly joyful, but often also kind of a mixed experience, and that is very true for May 2026. So the things that are happening this time of year are so much about the emerging, like the visibility of the end of the year and the chance to celebrate so many great things that our staff are doing, that our students and family have accomplished. So, first, I already referenced it, but the graduation celebrations that are starting and are going to continue for the next few weekends. We also have got, we've got OSA Music Championships happening, and we've got, Staff Appreciation, which was last week. We have so many great things. Awesome 3000 is coming on Saturday. All of these are ways that we see ourselves in community, and we see the community in ourselves. And they, at least for me, but I think for many people, are just buoyant experiences that help us maintain this sense of joy and hope, and also conviction about the great work being done for young people in our community. This May in particular also has got this other dimension to it, because we are dealing with the challenges that are coming from a pretty difficult budget situation. And I know that I can speak in part for school leaders and for other members of our team and our board when I say that we see the pain associated with the loss when we face reductions, and especially staff reductions. And, many people know that we have a proposed budget that includes 121 position cuts, and the FTE cuts, I'm sorry. And the fact that we were able to work together to do that in an organized way to avoid some negative impact does not mean that we avoided all negative impact. And I've had conversations with students, with parents, many conversations with leaders and staff about what it means to be in this moment, and the work that we have yet to come. I want to say that these two things, this kind of vitality and hope that comes from the season, and also the challenges that we face, do sit in a balance, and the net of that balance, in my mind, is always one of hope and optimism about what we can do next. It does require us to adapt. It does require us to find new ways to do things that have maybe been long-standing bodies of work. It also requires us to not feel paralyzed by threat, but rather energized by the ability to imagine new approaches to the work. And there are many ways that our district is learning to adapt. Adaptation is rarely something that anyone or organization does on its own. It usually does it when it must. And I can feel the ways in which we are learning to be a very adaptable organization, one that finds new ways, but also one that manages to hold together even in the midst of challenge. Over the coming weeks, we will hear more, and even tonight, we will hear more about some of those challenges. And every time I hear them, every time our team hears them, what we are hearing is the importance of listening and also the need to look for adaptations. And I think that is sort of the theme of May right now. Our young people are adapting and growing into their next form. Sometimes that means leaving us and moving on to the next best thing. Our system is adapting and growing into its next form, and I believe it too can be the next best thing. And with that, Chair, I will hand it back to you.
Thank you very much. Are you going to do the PreK report?
Our next item is actually a very good example of imagining and working towards adaptation and the next best thing, which is our annual PreK report. I want to invite Stephanie Wetzel, who will come share this with us as she joins the stage. Sorry, as she joins the chair. I do want to just say I have so much hope about what can be true in our system based on what can be true in PreK. It is a foundational building block of tremendous power across our system. And I feel that art is about to exemplify that for a lucky few of us here at the dais. And I will turn it over to Stephanie and invite you to share your information.
I don't think you need to push.
Okay. Good evening, Chair Richardson.
Maybe you do. Maybe you do. You do need to push, sorry.
Sorry. And I think our slide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Two garbage cans.
We're on, yay. Okay, thank you. I think we've got the slides up here. So good evening, Chair Richardson, Superintendent Castaneda, members of the board, and student advisor. I am so excited to be here tonight presenting our annual PreK report. We're going to do a little bit of a presentation tonight about our early learning programs in Salem-Keizer. The photos you will see and the slides tonight are from our classrooms that were taken this year here in the last few weeks. And so you're going to get to see our students really learning, having fun, being engaged, and working on those school readiness skills. The first slide we're looking at talks to you about our program. We're serving right now 700 students in multiple programs and classrooms throughout our district. We have a few different programs and funding streams under our early learning umbrella, including Head Start, our Title PreK, Preschool Promise, our Migrant PreK, and our Teen Parent Early Childhood Center. With our Teen Parent program, we do provide early Head Start services there as well. The next chart there looks at our program demographics and our home language survey across all of our pre-K programs. We do have a diverse student population, which mirrors our community, and we have at least 20 different home languages spoken with our pre-K students and families. We do see a need for continued and increased supports for pre-K programs in our community. We have maintained consistently full enrollment, which is not something you see in every program throughout the state. So we are fully enrolled and maintain full enrollment with a waiting list. And we have, as of April 30th, there were 149 students on our Preschool Promise and Head Start waiting lists, highlighting that current program capacity is not sufficient to meet the need here in our community. Continued wait lists show that many families are unable to access services, underscoring that need for expanded enrollment capacity and additional program slots. This year, we were able to increase our dual language programs that we offer. We added an additional dual language pre-K classroom at Washington in alignment with our K-5 dual language program. We have strengthened our instructional quality. We're working with our curriculum and instructional program assistants to come in and do some observations in our pre-K classrooms, give us ideas and strategies around how can we best align to support students on the smoothest transition to kindergarten, any ideas that we can do to help incorporate into our program. This is looking at kind of those social emotional skills, which we know are so important. We are able to provide comprehensive services and supports, including mental health assessments, screenings and referrals, individual student observations, classroom observations with debriefs to guide responsive strategies. We are also able to provide targeted relationship-based services through evidence-based interventions, including PCIT and PC care participation, Care Solace warm handoffs, and ongoing consultation and check-ins with staff. We have worked really hard this year on our literacy focus. We're aligning with our district's K-12 literacy initiatives. All of our pre-K instructional classroom staff attended the core literacy training in January, which was really helpful, and our folks loved being included in that. We have been piloting 2 different literacy curriculums this year and worked with our curriculum office with that. We're a little bit behind the K-5 literacy pilot in our process, but we are working on 2 different pilots there. We have this year also piloted the STAR pre-K early literacy assessment, and we're excited to be able to have our kids who are going to kindergarten start with current data on where they are at to give, that will go with them to kindergarten. We're also expanding our professional learning across early learning system. We were just chatting with our work with our Miriam Polk Early Learning Hub on joint professional development and training and how those were also aligned with the literacy focus, and that was very well attended. Folks are engaged in the curriculum. They want to know what they can do. I think that is a great alignment and partnership.
We're also increasing our family engagement and classroom literacy support. So we have received a grant through the state for around literacy education for families. And then we also have included our Dolly Parton Imagination Library in all of our enrollments. So at enrollment, families are signed up for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library because we know the research around access to books at home and want to do whatever we can to help partner that. This next slide just looks at some of those additional comprehensive services and supports. We were able to provide multiple Ready for K classes throughout town at multiple locations this year. We have provided parenting education classes, our follow-up on developmental screenings, just one example of that. 97 students received eyeglasses this year as a result of the vision screening that happened in their pre-K classroom. So parents were not aware that their child had needed corrective lenses, but through those vision screenings, we were able to provide glasses and support for that. And then this year, we have partnered with University of Denver and the Pele Center around inclusive classrooms and supports. It has really strengthened our approach to inclusive practice and what that looks like in our pre-K classrooms. They were able to provide coaching and strategies to support all learners in general education pre-K classrooms. Next, I want to turn over to the real star of the show. Millie, who passed out our artwork, is one of our pre-K students and is going to be moving on to kindergarten. And I wanted to introduce Kristen, who's mom's here, and she's just going to tell you a little bit about the parent perspective about being enrolled in pre-K and wanted to share a little bit of her thoughts with you. So thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. I'm Kristen Weddle. I'm a mom of two. I myself come from a background of severe persistent mental illness, and so I kind of start at, a little bit behind. Millie was born 2 months early, and she has autism spectrum disorder, so she has a little bit of growth needs outside of social emotional things that she needs a little bit of extra support. Millie joined the program in May of last year. She was in school from May through June, and then she was off for the summer and then started again in September. And so she's completed almost a full year at the end of this month. When Millie went into Head Start, she could not have a conversation. She could not have a two-way conversation with you. So there was no volleying of information back and forth. In the time that she's been in Head Start, she can sit down and interact with other people. She has conversations back and forth. She has interactions with her peers that I never thought she would ever accomplish. When she was born, we weren't sure if she would ever walk or talk, and Head Start has contributed to her growth in ways that I cannot even begin to describe. She's a totally different human being. The teachers, the staff, the family advocates, all the resources that they provide, medical referrals, all of the things they do for individual supports for every individual family and every specific need that every family needs are unmatched. There is nothing like it. Head Start is a program for the entire family. It is not just a program for children. It is a program that serves the entire family and the family's village and their ecosystem. Head Start has become a part of our village, and I'm actually really kind of sad that we have to leave it. I'm excited for what's to come, but I am sad that I'm going to see some friends and say goodbye to them. So I just want to request the board's attention for continued support for the program. By supplying classrooms in local elementary schools, Head Start kids are easily transitioned into kindergarten. I'm seeing that with my daughter and all the programs that are available for her for get started for pre-K and all that. It really lays the foundation for success for students in the future. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions or anything?
Director Parker.
I was just curious, what's the age limit for a child to sign up? How young can they be to get started?
Great question. So for our pre-K programs, we tell families they have to be 3 by September 10th. So if they're 3 by September 10th, they would be eligible.
Okay. And do they have a program, like if there's two, like you said you had 2 children, if the older one got in, would the younger one be able to get in at the same time, or do we still have to go through
Each student would fill out a new
separate.
application. Once a family is enrolled, though, with Head Start or Preschool Promise in that first year, they don't have to reapply for year 2. They would be enrolled as a returner, but a new sibling or someone else would have to apply.
We have to pay. Thank you.
Director Ortiz?
Thank you so much to Mom for sharing your story, and I can still claim that I was a Head Start child, right? Because I think once you're a Head Start child, like that never goes away. So I'm all for early childhood education programs. I was curious on the comprehensive developmental screenings. I'm familiar with those, being connected to the Head Start programs, but I was curious and I wasn't clear if that is if our developmental screenings are limited to the Head Start programs, or are they available to all ECE enrolled students?
Great question. We do our screenings with all programs, so not just with Head Start, but our ASQs, our hearing, our vision screenings, our mental health screenings, those are with all programs in the whole list there. Yeah, she was just reminding me of the dental screenings as well.
Chair, can I?
Yes, Dr.
Thank you.
Sandgari?
Thank you very much. This is wonderful. Thank you, little girl.
He said thank you for your artwork.
Thank you. Thank you.
She said you're welcome.
You're right. The question I have is, I wish all our children can have access to this. You said there are 149 children who are on waiting list. And by the time they get in, probably they'll be already in kindergarten to first grade or whatever it is. What is needed to expand so that we can reach everybody, including the ones who may not meet the means tested way to get in, but if there's a way to have, they can pay for it, or sliding scale or something like that, because it's such a rich, beneficial program when you see the miracle that you're sharing.
Oh, thank you. And I am so lucky to get to work with the students and families and staff that we do. So just recognizing our staff and families here. What I would say to speak to is anytime there's an opportunity to apply for additional funding or resources at the state level, our district and superintendent, assistant superintendent have said, hey, please apply. So anytime the state says there is funding, additional funding available, we have completed an application. I know we are thinking about, are there ways that we could do some of that sliding scale or fees or other things, but I don't know, or if you have anything you would want to share with that.
Can I just follow up a little bit? Does the coordinated care organization, they also have a responsibility for all children. Do they offer any support in terms of braiding that fund with whatever little you get from the state? And
great question. I wouldn't be able to speak to kind of the CCO, although we do try to work with them for kind of connecting with resources, but I haven't had any resources coming in from that. I don't know if you have anything.
I will weigh in a little bit on that, wearing my day job hat. The CCO doesn't directly fund the district in this way, but Stephanie is right. We do a lot of work in the community to help to support our early childhood programs, including Salem-Keizer, with different resources that are in the community. I will say, too, the work that the community has been able to do to increase the number of social emotional screens like the ASQ and the ASQ-SE, some of that has also been braided with some CCO funding in that regard, but from a community perspective.
so you don't get any shares dollars from the CCO to invest in our school?
Not to the school directly.
What's
There
the
might be
reason?
some grants that schools can apply for, but it would be a narrow stream and not for full-on programming.
I'm sorry. To address a piece of your question, Dr. Chandragiri, I think there are many people here who believe that this is one of the transformative levers for our young people and our community. Early childhood, high quality early childhood experiences. So we are working right now to initiate a bit of a learning pilot next year around sliding scale opportunities throughout the district for families who are just beyond that means test, but still may find that access to high quality early childhood is financially just a little bit beyond their grasp. And because we want to know the answer to the same question you're asking, if we were to open up seats that had some amount of reasonable income-based tuition, do we have families who would avail themselves of that opportunity? We think it's a really important growth area for us. Deputy Superintendent Cobb has applied for a grant from Merkley's office to support some early childhood screening efforts to help us get a little bit more clear sense of the needs of students entering our system. And so we are working all of the angles, even within a context of challenging resourcing, because challenging resourcing cannot be the thing that suffocates our belief that we can do other things well and even better than have been done before.
Yes.
I'm just,
Director Harmon.
thank you very much, Chair. I have the honor and privilege of working directly with Stephanie, and I have watched this program grow over the last 10 or 12 years and grow from a very small profile to a very large profile. And so I'm just curious, Stephanie, from your vantage point, if there is is there something that you are just so proud of in terms of thinking about what you've been able to accomplish in growing the program to be so multifaceted and the different types of programs?
That's a great question.
I know, that's a big question.
A big question. I think I'm just we have the most talented staff you could believe. So we're really proud of the staff members who we have who choose every day to work with our youngest Salem-Keizer students. And I think thinking about when I started in this position in 2005, we had 120 students and 22 staff members working with our pre-K programs. And we have grown from there, and the increased number of opportunities for families is huge. We have learned a lot. We have learned a lot about what we can do, what does that look like, and things we can do. I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of Millie going to school with the skills she needs to be able to go into kindergarten. I could go on and on. We don't have time for that, but just there are many, many things. But I just think it's a privilege to get to work here with our students and families we do, with the talented staff we do. We are working hard every day to help students, anything we can do to help them be ready for school.
Stephanie, can you please stay there for a second? It's rare that you get a naturally occurring opportunity to recognize somebody who's had such a tremendous impact on our district, on our schools, and most importantly, on our students. And your leadership and vision in exactly the way I think Lisa was describing, which is this immense, multifaceted, and deeply generous and hopeful approach to providing early childhood options is a legacy and a gift that you have given our entire community. And I'm not sure how many years you've been at this, but I think it is bordering on 30.
It's 30. You're
30 years, which means that there is not a person in our entire system that hasn't had some experience that you and your team have influenced. And so, I was looking at this picture you have up here, and I know that you will say that a lot of the recognition and the credit goes to them, but we get a chance right now to say thank you to you for what is just a spectacular career and one of deep and profound meaning. So we want to thank you for that, and also we're going to give you a little standing ovation.
Good job.
Stephanie, I have to say a little something. Stephanie comes from a family of educators, and each one of her siblings, her father, her mother, impacted my being able to be successful in Salem-Keizer. And I just can't thank you enough and your family for all that you did to assist me over the last 28 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is now time for the public comment portion of the school board meeting. As a reminder, all audience members are subject to immediate removal if you engage in abusive, threatening, vulgar, or hate speech, including speech articulated on signs and clothing, which violate the district's harassment and/or every student belongs policy. Please note that we provide an opportunity for public comment by virtual call-in, in person, or in writing. Electronic mechanisms are used for translation. Each participant has 3 minutes. We have a countdown timer on screen for monitoring time. The timer counts down from 3 minutes at 30 seconds, and it turns from green to yellow at 1 second. It turns red and plays a short bell to signal time is up. Please be mindful of our interpreters. If the board receives written comment ahead of the meeting, the written comment will be posted on the district website. Tonight, 10 people signed up and have been selected to comment. At this time, will Reagan Lee please come forward? Reagan Lee. Okay, Tyler Swain. Tyler Swain. Sarah Young. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Sarah Young, and I am speaking today on behalf of library specialists who work in the school district. Library specialists have spent 15 long years doing the job of a licensed staff member with zero recognition or protection. We deserve recognition and protection in the Ask ESP union contract. We deserve more pay for the position we hold and the job we do. The current district bargaining team does not think we deserve this recognition or protection. Please listen as library specialists use their voice to tell you why they deserve more. I am the library specialist for Salem Heights Elementary School. I have been the LS at Salem Heights for almost 7 years. When I took over the library, I was given no direction and no training. I was told to manage and protect hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of books and electronics with zero direction on how to do that. I was given zero direction or training on how to run a library program, supervise students, manage student behaviors, and generally run a classroom alone with zero supervision, as if I were a licensed teacher. When I asked if I would be making more money taking on all of this responsibility, I was assured that I would make more than a general IA. After examining my first paycheck as a library specialist, I quickly realized that more was about 60 cents more an hour than a general IA. In the ensuing years, LSs were bumped up to a 14 pay scale level. Except wait, am I making less than an SPIA and running an entire program by myself? Yes, I am. What other ESP is running, managing, supervising, and creating an entire program alone with zero supervision? When I walk in my library each day, I'm faced with gathering returned books from classrooms, shelving those books, repairing books students have damaged, creating book order lists for the library collection, pulling outdated books from the library collection, troubleshooting student Chromebook problems before, during, and after library class time, creating, organizing, planning, engaging activities for each classroom. Each class comes to my library twice a week. That enters my library so that teachers can have scheduled prep time. Am I given contract protected prep time to prepare and plan for the classes that I run? No, I am not. What ESP is doing the job of a licensed staff member with zero workload protections and getting paid less than an SPIA. We are different from other ESP classifications. We are different because this district does not recognize the value we bring to schools by creating and directing library programs for students. We are different because we cover as many as 40 or more preps for licensed teachers by ourselves each and every day. We are library specialists running a specials program, but being paid less than an SPIA. If you think library specialists don't deserve language in the Ask ESP contract that protects us from overloaded schedules, then I encourage you to be a library specialist substitute at one of our larger student populated schools for one day and see if your response to what library specialists are asking should be, we don't see why LSs are any different than any other classified member, and therefore we decline. Thank you.
Thank you. Katrina Axtell.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I have been in elementary education for almost 40 years.
Use your mic, please.
Almost 20 of them here in Salem-Keizer. I've been a kindergarten teacher and an art teacher, an outreach specialist, among many other roles, but for almost 20 at Four Corners in the library. And so I've seen the changes through all those years. And I'm here to tell you that what we are doing is definitely different than any other classified role, and that we do need different language. That we are people who fill needs within our schools. So we have filled the need of a librarian for all these years when that need was made when librarians were cut. We filled the need of someone to manage all the Chromebooks in all of the schools when we switched to Chromebooks instead of computer labs. We filled the need to cover teacher preps, and personally that doubled my workload. I went from 14 classes a week to 28 classes a week at the same time that my hours were cut. And you'll see that reflected in many of our librarian stories. We feel the need when a room clear needs to happen. When a teacher is sick and needs to go home, I take in those classes. All through the week, I fill all of these needs. They're not part of my job description at all, but I'm a need filler. And all of us are people who step in for our schools and fill those needs. And we're asking now for you to fill our need and to listen to the things that we have been doing for these 15 years, all making less than, and then being recently told that we're not really different than any other instructional assistant, and so therefore we don't qualify for the language to be changed, or for our jobs to be protected, or our time for library maintenance to be protected. When I first started, it was an 8-hour position, and nobody really knew what I did. And I feel like as you hear these stories, you might understand, we don't need to say the same thing over and over, what it is that we do through the day. But I do want to read to you quickly someone else's story. I'm reading this on behalf of Susan Katrine from Whitaker Middle School. My name is Susan Katrine, and I've been working at Whitaker Middle School for the past 10 years. However, I've worked in education for 30 years all over the state of Oregon. As a library media specialist in middle school, our duties are different from our fellow colleagues in elementary. I was surprised and astonished to learn that elementary library specialists have to prepare and teach their own classes.
Thank you. Tammy Lee Brockcamp.
So low.
I was surprised and disheartened by the dismissal of the library specialist agenda. The April 13th bargaining session, including the claim that a library specialist is no different from an instructional assistant. This response reflects a lack of understanding of library specialist's role and its responsibility. I'm Tammy Lee Brokamp, and I've worked for the district for nearly 30 years in a variety of roles, including SPED, IA, LRC, instructional assistant, and for the last 11 years as library specialist for Morningside Elementary. So let's compare what an assistant, an IA does to a library specialist. An IA works under the direct supervision of a teacher, supporting instruction and assisting with classroom-based tasks. In contrast, a library specialist manages a dynamic learning environment that serves the entire school community. This includes supporting literacy, teaching, research, and digital literacy skills, collaborating with teachers, and managing technology resources. This position requires a significant independence, initiative, and a broad skill base. Library specialists are increasingly expected not only to fulfill the responsibilities of their own position, but to also assume many duties traditionally assigned to IAs. However, instructional assistants are not required to share in the responsibility of the library. This imbalance creates an inequitable distribution of work and places a disproportionate burden on the library specialist. Using the Salem-Keizer district's own job description as a reference, let's examine the essential functions of a job for positions whose responsibilities library specialists regularly perform. Each of the roles listed below falls under the umbrella of classified. Instructional assistant, I perform 12 of the 14 essential functions. In my role as the library specialist, I'm not involved in transportation or medical needs unless you include the occasional Band-Aid. Clerical assistant, I do 11 of the 15 essential functions of that job. Administration assistant, 1, I do 7 of the 11. And the microcomputer support, I do 8 of the 17. Altogether, that represents a total of 37 out of 57 essential functions of that job that I perform as the library specialist. In other words, approximately 67% of the essential functions across 4 separate jobs are being carried out within one single position. This clearly demonstrates that library specialist role is not limited in scope, but instead encompasses a significant overlap of responsibilities typically assigned to multiple positions, minimizing or disregarding the scope of library specialist position reflects not only an outdated view of our school libraries, but is also very concerning. Thank you.
Jillian Tarasso.
Okay, my name is Jillian Terrassa, and I'm the library specialist at Keizer Elementary. Right now, our district is in the middle of a literacy crisis. We are investing time, money, and energy into improving literacy outcomes for elementary students. But at the same time, library specialists are being treated primarily as coverage staff rather than literacy support professionals. Last year, when teachers received an extra prep period, schools were allowed to assign that coverage to library specialists without additional protections or support. When I asked my administrator what to prioritize, because I knew I could not manage 44 classes and maintain the library alone, I was told to prioritize student supervision and drop the book stuff. How does that support literacy? During Teacher Appreciation Week, I received a note from a first grader that said, "I used to hate to read, but now I love to read." That is the work we do. We are not just supervising children, we are helping children discover books, build confidence, and to develop a lifelong relationship with reading. The district is missing a huge opportunity to support not only students learning how to read, but students learning to love reading. But I can only do that work if I actually have the time and the support to do it. I spent the entire 24-25 school year trying to get the district to understand the impossible workload I was carrying. Along with covering the same number of prep periods as a music and PE teacher, I was also expected to maintain the library, manage Chromebooks, support students, and somehow maintain a life outside of work. I regularly went home exhausted and in tears. Finally, in April, 8 months into the school year, mind you, it only takes 9 months to create an entire human baby, I received relief in the form of a 0.25 FTE support position. It helped tremendously, but then our building added 2 more classes, increasing my workload even more, while I was told that the extra support was not guaranteed moving forward. After layoffs were announced, I spent months wondering whether the help I fought so hard for would disappear. And that is exactly the problem. There's no protection. Nothing prevents the district from adding more prep coverage, more duties, more responsibilities while leaving no time for the actual library work that supports literacy. I love my job, I love the students I serve, and I love the words I help them find. Superintendent Castaneda, I know that you were at the OBOB event. It's a very important part of our schools. We don't get paid any extra to do that. I am growing weary of being constantly misunderstood, underappreciated, underpaid, and underprotected. So here I am again, asking for your support. I hope my plea does not fall on deaf ears. Thank you.
Ross Schwarzen-Druber.
So good evening,
Good evening.
Chair Richardson and directors and Superintendent Castaneda. My name is Ross Schwarzen-Druber. I'm a resident of the district and also a substitute teacher here for the last 5 years. And today I would like to talk to you a little bit about ways to boost student achievement. And I've been on a group of educators, Oregon Public Education Network. We're really involved in educating legislators about alternative ways to boost achievement. We just passed a law this last session that allowed play-based learning to be used as curriculum, as instruction time. And we're really trying to set it up so the 3 through 2nd grade are using play-based learning because we see that it has a lot of benefits and has evidence-based research that proves that it works. So children learn best through guided play. And we have some experts who really helped us develop this, Kathy Hirsch-Pasek, and that's basically her message with active playful learning. There's another doctor, a neuroscientist, Jared Cooney-Horvath. He testified at the U.S. Senate hearing on the impact of technology in youth. And his quote was, "The cognitive development of children across much of the developed world has stalled and in many domains reversed." Now, I think you're pretty familiar with this situation, right, of declining test scores, declining achievement. And Dr. Horvath pins it directly on technology. And that when we adopted one-to-one devices and Canvas, that's when our decline started. Now, Oregon Unplugged is a group that helped push the cell phone ban through. They're working on a screen time ban. And I'd really like to talk about Canvas and the attachment economy. We've moved out of the attention economy where our focus was commodified. Now, with the attachment economy, we are commodifying our capacity for human connection and bonding. And assignments, assessments, and discussions, they have all been bent to fit this software, Canvas. Teachers' work and students' work and their ideas about academic work looks like and has been bent to the software. Everything except Canvas is replaceable, and we're told by the district that it's out of your control. When you put all of our software on the cloud as expected or as you're planning, you have no control. Salem-Keizer has no control. Who is responsible? Thank you.
Max Turetsky. Max Turetsky.
Hi, my name is Max. I've worked for Salem-Keizer as a substitute for 4 years. I've also subbed for other districts through the temp agency ADJOURNMENT, including Woodburn, Central, Dallas, Jervis, Mount Angel, Gresham Barlow, and Riverdale. I'm here to speak in opposition to our district's plan to contract substitutes through ADJOURNMENT for the 26-27 school year. I ask the board to please consider the following. If contracted through ADJOURNMENT, Salem-Keizer substitutes would lose their status as public employees contributing to and benefiting from Oregon's Public Employee Retirement System, also known as PERS. It's difficult for anyone to commit full-time to a job like subbing, which doesn't offer retirement or other benefits, but contributing to PERS mitigates this concern for myself and for countless other full-time substitutes. ADJOURNMENT substitutes are able to work for any local district they choose. If Salem-Keizer contracts with ADJOURNMENT next year, our district will find itself competing for subs against other districts in ADJOURNMENT's network. 2 nearby districts, Jervis and Mount Angel, offer subs a significantly higher pay rate. Salem-Keizer pays $245, while Jervis pays $260, and Mount Angel pays $275 per day. Being a district employee brings a sense of commitment and belonging that I lost when working in ADJOURNMENT districts. As a longtime Salem-Keizer substitute, I've built relationships at the schools where I work because I serve the same students and staff day after day. Working for ADJOURNMENT is more like being an educational mercenary. You find the highest paying district nearby, work the job, and it's on to the next. You are encouraged to take assignments across multiple districts, and forming long-term connections is difficult, if not impossible. If Salem-Keizer contracts with ADJOURNMENT next year, we will pay this corporate temp agency $25 per substitute per day, a figure which will add up to thousands daily. I firmly believe these dollars will be better spent on Salem-Keizer's own substitute office and the dedicated employees who have served substitutes there for years. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Jacobo.
Hi, good evening. My name is Susan. I am the library specialist at Weddell Elementary School. I think we can all agree that school libraries are an incredibly valuable asset to our school district and within our communities. They provide students with opportunities and resources that they otherwise may not have access to at home. The job of a librarian is incredibly important to a student success and as well as to support teachers in supporting curriculum and technology assistance. The school district has heavily invested in curriculum and training to support literacy growth for our students. However, several years ago, the district eliminated licensed librarians at the elementary and middle school levels, as well as district-level library associates. So today, classified library specialists are expected to independently run entire library programs while carrying even more responsibilities than before. I'm fairly new to this job. I entered last year in the fall, and I stepped into a library that had years of turnover. The collection was outdated, systems were difficult to maintain, and there were entire grade levels of students who were not regularly checking out books. And I do believe that it's not a lack of desire on part of the previous librarians at the school. However, it's a result of the increasing workload and working conditions that have been accumulating over several years. This year, as a new library specialist, I was fortunate to only have 16 classes in addition to covering teacher prep. And I'm proud to say that several of our grades actually doubled with checkout, which means more students had access to books, more students were reading. However, because of the lack of protections for library specialists, next year my class load will be increasing, and I will most likely be expected to continue teacher prep coverage. And while I wish that the library could support all of these things that is important for a school to function, it's just really not realistic or sustainable under the current conditions that library specialists face. And this is speaking from experience, with years of experience as an instructional assistant and as a licensed music teacher. The job of a library specialist is incredibly difficult to manage. There's a lot of components, and I really do think that the skills necessary and the experience and the independence that's needed to be successful in this role is it's really not equivalent to other classified positions. I don't think that we can afford to lose librarians or to diminish the quality of our library programs, because our students really deserve the best that libraries have to offer. Thank you.
Brian Zauber-Reed.
Well, hello. I wasn't sure I was going to get on. I got another one of those rejection emails, but this time I showed up. It's like last time I was so confused. I'm trying to get my... there we go. Got my speech. Sorry. Okay, I'll just be fast. So, members of Salem-Keizer Board, Madam Chair, Superintendent Castaneda, thank you for your time this evening on an issue that is close and near and dear to my heart, special education. I stand before you today to advocate and to collaborate on getting rid of, eliminating the 11% cap on SPED. I recall that Ms. Castaneda, you mentioning that you wanted to make this a destination district. Well, 19% of our total population is IEPs, it's SPED. That is considerable and climbing. We got group homes moving into the area constantly because of our phenomenal support systems that we have here. I'd say that the destination made us. We are now a destination district of support and proud to be and supporting Oregon's most vulnerable. Basically what this 11% would eliminate is and free up is $700 million statewide. That's a considerable chunk, and I think that districts would be very eager to jump on board with such a pretty bold initiative to free that money up. I was in committee last time. I've testified at last time when it went through long session, and it failed in our Ways and Means. I think we can make more noise together and team up together on this, and I honestly see this as a speed bump if all the districts came together with employees on this particular issue. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I got, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly Reed Zauber. Okay. Alex Hitchin.
I signed up, but I was rejected.
So we had 2 people that didn't show up tonight, so I get an opportunity to add 2 more people. So you're welcome to come forward. Thank you.
Okay, hi, thank you for your time. I'm here as a substitute teacher. I've also been in the school district as a student from kindergarten all the way to graduation, and now I have a student who is experiencing kindergarten and hopefully all the way on to graduation in our school district. Right now I'm a substitute teacher with the school district, and I do love my job a lot. I've got awesome administrations in every school that I've been working in, very supportive, very collaborative. Anytime that there's a need, there's somebody there, and I really appreciate that. However, I do think that that will change if we move on to EduStaff. for administrative roles for substitute teachers for being in charge of how we manage our substitute teachers. There we go. Sorry, I was struggling for words. I think that would be a problem because it's, first of all, in an email that got sent to us today at the very end of the day, it said that our PERS, we would be losing PERS. And that's a benefit that we really value. And that's it's the only benefit we get as substitute teachers. It's something that to hear in an email that it's only gonna affect about 10% of people, that 10% is huge to the people who've put hours into these schools. We often do not get lesson plans. We do not get IEPs. There's more than one classroom I've been in where there's no emergency information kits for if there's fire drills. These are things that we deal with on a daily basis, and I think that if we went through another company like EduStaff, we would be separating ourselves even further, putting even more of a strain on communication, and it will ultimately affect the number one goal as substitute teachers, which is the safety of the students. We're not in there. We love to be educators, don't get me wrong, but our number one job is to keep students safe. And right now, that's already difficult with how the school is looking, and I think that would put a lot of extra strain. I also wonder about the people who are in charge of substitutes, what their jobs will look like. You may say it's protected now, but what will that look like in 5 years when they no longer are needed? Because we've outsourced to a company that isn't even from here, doesn't know our community, doesn't know our community's needs. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Hale.
I sent in the letter, so you may have read it or not. Dear Superintendent Castaneda and Chairperson Richardson and board members, I'm speaking to ask you to reconsider using a private equity firm to manage your substitutes. EduStaff is part of the private equity firm PPC Enterprises. It specializes in acquisitions, acceleration of high potential service businesses. Private equity firms suppress wages as well as weaken benefits and workers' rights. I don't know if the intention is to privatize or make basically gig workers that we are less stable, or to save money, or anyway, substitutes that their friends, their families are upset about this news because it means substitutes will be subject to the whims of private equity, lose PERS pension, and take a pay cut. EduStaff is not more efficient and likely not cost-effective. The Oregon Capital Chronicle reported in 2023 that EduStaff did not reply to requests for comment on wage theft issues surrounding mandatory training. Second, EduStaff requires substitute teachers to track hours and communicate with the district human resource office when they reach the 10th day on long-term substitute assignment. So there is still administrative work that is not going to be covered by them, and it would probably be less efficient. Third, many substitute teachers have second jobs. EduStaff's pay is, from what I understand, $10 less per day than the current Salem-Keizer substitute rate. Many substitute teachers will refuse to take this loss and find other work. EduStaff claims they provide professional development, but who knows what level that's at. I have to renew my license every 3 years with 75 units of professional development, and I've been able to do that on my own with an occasional district training that I'm able to attend. I have a master's degree. I won't go into all the personal Please reconsider using EduStaff to manage substitutes. I believe it will cause more harm than benefit. Currently, substitute teachers can choose a grade level or subject that is comfortable. The repeated exposure to the same students in grade level processes makes substitute teachers more effective. EduStaff would require teachers to go where directed, including to other districts. Parents would not be satisfied with the results and students would suffer. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for their public comments this evening. At this time, we will take a 10-minute recess. Please return at 7:35. Thank you. Now on our agenda is the adoption of resolution number 2025-26-05, Supplemental Plan for Approval of Transportation Cost. As a reminder, the board heard a first reading at the April board meeting. Director Crockett, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Good evening, Chair Richardson, members of the board, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisor. Got nothing to add.
Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-26-05, Supplemental Plan for Approval of Transportation Costs as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Director Ortiz? And I need a second.
I will. Got lots of seconds. Choose.
Director Parker will second it. At this time, I'll open the floor for discussion.
Thank you. Just at least a really quick, transportation's a big deal. You're right. Student turnout is a big deal. Why is it so difficult? It felt like it was difficult when we were growing up in school, and now it seems even more so. I look forward to continue to see our transportation grow. However, I would like to see the kiddos be able to, I think in a perfect world, we'd be able to transport them to the different high schools for our different career tech classes and really get to see them thrive. So I know we have the marriage with the chariots, and so hopefully we can continue to focus on connecting all of our kids to wherever their interests are so that we can have the best turnout possible that we offer here at Salem-Keizer. So thanks for your time and checking out.
Thank you. Any others?
I want to ask really hard questions, but I don't have them. So thanks for all the information you provided. I think this one, we've seen this one come through before, but my zone 5, which is south of Sunnyview, east of Lancaster, cross Corridor. So there's a lot of students in my area. We're kind of outside of the city limits. We have lots of areas without sidewalks, and I see students crossing State Street, which I know they're going to school, and I know we have some crosswalks now, but it still makes me so nervous and anxious because we don't have sidewalks. And so I know that that is beyond the work that you are here today to speak on or to share about, but it is so important for us to get our students to school safely every single day. So thanks for the work to get this plan in front of us, and then for all of our transportation team that helps us do that every single day for kiddos.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All of those in favor of adopting resolution number 2025-2605, Supplemental Plan for Approval of Transportation Costs as presented, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Superintendent Castaneda, do you wish to provide further review of any item listed on the consent calendar?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Yes.
Director Sandegari?
Do you want to pull something?
Yeah, but I think
just
after.
a minute.
Sorry.
Is there a second? A second. Director Harnish? Now you ask your question.
Thank you. I was just wondering if I could go ahead and pull an item, being the grants.
Which one?
So the grant for the only one on the list today, the PG electric school bus grant. So I was just wondering if I could ask some questions about that.
Yes, we need clarification.
Yes, thank you. He already left.
I think we're trying to recover TJ from
Yeah.
the parking lot. But
okay.
speak slowly, and by the time he
Yeah.
arrives, maybe the timing will be perfect.
Okay. Well, you might know the answer to this. So the grant, it looks like it's for nearly $550,000 for funding for, well, I'm just going to read it actually so everyone can hear. So grant, PGE electric school bus. Grant description, this grant will provide funding for the incremental cost of an electric school bus over a traditional unleaded or diesel powered bus. The funds are also available for training drivers and technicians. So start my questions. I was wondering about the training drivers and technicians. My assumption is that would correlate with whatever electric school bus it is. But my main question is, if we were to get this grant, it looks like it can only be applied towards that. So I was wondering what the cost of an electric school bus is. Is that going to cover the cost, or are we going to have to come up with our own out-of-pocket cost to purchase this?
We've been receiving this grant for several years. I've been here for 3, and I've seen this come through that entire time. And it covers both the cost of the bus itself and also some of the training expenses. TJ will be able to tell us more about how much one of these electric buses costs. Cue TJ. But it is a long-standing project, and we've been incrementally introducing them into our fleet. TJ, would you like to tell us a little bit about the PGE grant and the buses?
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair Richardson, members of the board, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisor. So the PGE grant, Superintendent Castaneda is correct. We've been participating in that grant program for about 5 years now. 2020 was the first year that we were an award recipient. And the grant covers the cost between the electric bus and a standard bus. So we pay whatever we would normally pay. We actually get the quote for a standard diesel bus, and then PGE covers all the costs up to the full cost of the electric bus. But to answer your question about like what does an electric bus cost, it's about 2.5 times the cost of a standard diesel bus. And we've seen that price coming together over time. When we first started the program, it was about 4 times the cost of a standard diesel bus to get an electric bus. What we're seeing, though, is that come together, but not because electric buses are getting cheaper, but because diesel buses are getting more expensive.
Okay. So, so for this, would this be, how many electric buses do we have right now in the district? Do you know?
Yeah, Chair Richardson, Director Hudson, and members of the board. We currently have 6 buses here right now. We have 2 on order from last year's PGE grant, which would bring us to 8, and this will get us to 10.
Okay, thank you. So, this does indicate that we're buying 2 more buses. So we don't know if that cost for the bus fits inside this particular grant number, correct? Or does that make sense? I can be more direct with my answer. Okay.
I think I understand, Chair Richardson, Director Hudson, and members of the board. So the grant that we have will cover the difference between a diesel bus and that electric bus that we're going. In order to apply for the grant, we first had to get quotes for both of those things so that we know what those costs were when we submitted the grant to PGE. So we will spend as much on these 2 electric buses as we would if they were these are going to be diesel replacements because of what we plan on buying. So we'll pay for these buses what we would have paid for their diesel equivalent. PGE does the rest and gives us money to put in 2 new chargers to charge them.
So do we get to talk about what the district saves by doing this? Because, I mean, either way, we'd have to keep up costs, maybe buy new buses for our district to keep. I mean, I know the one that my kiddo rides on, I probably shouldn't tell the horror story, but it really needed some work, and the kids were breathing stuff in the bus and so on. So I just wonder if this helps overall, if we have good numbers like that say, okay, well, this is how much we would have saved. We would have had to replace these buses, or vice versa. This money is going to help us by the work and maintenance of, because it kind of goes with that. So are we saving money by this? Is this a preference? Do we know approximately how much in all we're saving? Do I get to get that deep? Thank you.
Chair Richardson and Director Hudson, members of the board, I can work to get you the specifics on what the costs are for maintaining the electric buses. There are fewer parts on them, so like we're not replacing oil, so oil filters, there's a lot of those kind of things that we save, and I can work to get you the specifics on that because I don't have that right off the top of my head. I do know for as far as the moving the vehicle costs, so like the fuel equivalent right now, given the way the diesel prices are, we're definitely saving money on the electric costs in these buses versus the fuel costs of the diesel or the gas buses. That, of course, will fluctuate depending on what the fuel market does, but the electric market isn't as volatile in the short term because it'll be year-over-year rate changes is where we see the changes there, and it's on a separate schedule that our buildings is.
Yeah. Do we know longevity yet of like vehicle life on average? Is it similar?
Yeah, so Chair Richardson and Director Hudson, members of the board. There's been districts in California that have ran their electric buses for up to 20 years. So we're seeing the same sort of life expectancy out of those as we do our own buses. For our own buses, in a perfect world, we would be replacing small buses every 12 years and big buses every 16. And the reason we want that rate is because that's about when we hit 200,000 miles on a bus. And that's when we start to experience big ticket repairs. So engines, transmissions, things that cost lots of money. Also, the state reimbursement through the transportation grant is only for 10 years. So once we go past 10 years, it's all out of pocket to maintain that. So we really want to get out of it before we hit those big ticket things. So as far as like your question, I think that you were kind of getting to earlier, like, are we spending more to replace with these electrics? It's just right on the regular cycle that we would be replacing buses anyway.
Okay, and then again, our techs are savvy in this, because I know that's an issue, right, out in the world? So that's, okay. All right, I appreciate you coming back in. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to.
No, I heard my name 3 times.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Is there any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the item A?
I do.
Dr. Sandagiri, is there a second?
I do.
Director Parker, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Raise your right hand. Aye. Any opposed?
Just for now, just because I don't know the cost yet. I don't know how big and different, and I know I have before, but we just, thank you.
One opposed. All right, thank you very much. As a reminder, everything in the Information Standard Reports section is provided for the board's review ahead of the meeting. Superintendent, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
That takes us to our board reports section of the agenda, where directors and student advisors shall work from formal committee assignments and activities of the board related to youth programs and school district activities since the last board meeting. Jolie, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you. Some of these are things I wanted to bring up last meeting, but I'll work them in today. So I wanted to thank you all so much for reappointing me to be student advisor and appointing Alex. I know we will make a great team and continue to bring an active student voice to the school board this next school year. I would also like to thank all of the school board members for giving student advisors the space to share student voice on the school board, and I appreciate and have recognized throughout the school year how you all as board members really listen to the things I or Jackson have to say and apply that to when you make decisions. However, I know there are a lot of tough and unideal situations the district has been forced into due to unavoidable situations from the state, like the budget, for example. And I appreciate that our district is being very proactive in tackling these big issues, like the budget, which I know you all have been rigorously working on. Prom season is also upon us, and I would like to thank all the staff and volunteers who help at proms around the district. The South Salem prom was April 11th, and it was only as magical as it was because of the help of the volunteer staff and students. I would also like to thank the whole district student body for showing up to schools and continuing to push through and do rigorous schoolwork, especially with all the other struggles and commitments students face, whether extracurricular, sports, work, stress, mental health, or fear. I see the student body come together and lift each other up through difficult times. At South, I've seen many students wearing the monarch butterfly plants. I don't have one today, but on their backpacks to support their fellow students, which helps build stronger communities and allyship. And then another thing I want to bring up that was a concern I heard from a fellow student was when the district hires staff, they need to make sure that they're actually hiring qualified staff and that trainings for jobs need to be more thorough and well thought out. I have a friend at C-Tech who has a teacher who really can't teach the material consistently. And I know it is hard to find qualified staff, but our students deserve teachers that will give them a fully enriching and thorough education, especially in special programs. I appreciate what the public comment people said about the library tonight. I know in my own lived experience, my freshman year, the school library was a safe space I would often go to like after school or to have lunch. And also the one of them mentioned like students are reading less also because of like the workload. And that's something I've noticed a lot too. It's like a hard balance of reading for which helps enrich students versus the workload, which kind of, it's like a push and pull. But that's all for, thank you.
Thank you. Director Parker.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for all the teachers and all the library staff that were in today. I know last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to give a shout out to all the teachers. I can't remember what the last events I mentioned. It's been a while, so I'll just go from now on. I'm excited about all the upcoming graduations that I get to attend. I get to attend the first Crystal Awards Apples this week, which is going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be a lot of excitement. I love to see the enjoy for all the teachers, and then all the kids getting through the year, working hard. It's almost here, kids. You're almost to summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Guzman-Ortiz.
Thank you. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder because I know this happens after like all the great things that we get to go to. So I'll be very brief, but just echoing Teacher Appreciation. It was also National School Nurses Day. I think I saw some online recognitions on May 6th. I just wanted to give a verbal shout out for that as well. And then we had our beautiful dancers today, but it's also Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month for the entire month of May. So we have a few more weeks to celebrate, and I'm looking forward to continued celebrations around our community as well. Crystal Apple Awards, graduations, it's the season of celebration. I know it's been a challenging year. We've had big conversations around budgets, not just in Salem-Keizer, but across the state. And I think this is just a moment where we get to reflect again on why it all matters, right? And all the important work that continues to happen despite the challenging economic situation in our schools and across our state. So I'm just grateful for all of our educators who continue to do the good work. I know we're also kind of at that point of time where we're just getting tired and buildings are getting a little warm, but we push through and we continue to celebrate. And we'll be back tomorrow for a budget committee meeting. I would just invite any community members out there to, you know, provide your comments as well. Look into that budget. We do this together in preparation for next year. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Shandagiri.
Well, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that early morning I'll be flying to DC. My oldest is graduating once again from George Washington University. So I'll join the meeting, budget meeting from Virginia, Arlington. So, and I have to miss the Crystal Apple, so, but my heart is with all the folks who got nominated and those who are winners. All of you are winners, all of you are winners. All teachers are winners and staff are winners. So I will miss this. And I was so looking forward, but then it's like that. Which one do you choose? Yeah. So in a different note, I just want to thank Director Hudson, Director Parker to join me and together. And I really want to say thank you, Chair and Superintendent Castaneda, for allowing us to have a discussion in the board in June 9th on student safety. You know, I really think it is an important topic. And communities have been coming and talking to us, and I'm sure all of us, and we all value that, we all want that. So we'll have a discussion, and what should be the role of the board? What are some of the ways in which we can see what's going on, and how can we work towards schools that are safe, that respects the dignity of all our children, and both in the school community, for us, children have to be safe everywhere. Everybody wants the same thing. You know, whether it is suicide or violence, bullying, those things are not really conducive to health, safety, education. So we look forward to that, and just wanted to kind of set the stage and open it up so anybody in the community, I'm sure there are a lot of folks in the community who have so many things they have shared with us over the last several years, at least for me, in the last 7+ years. And each one of you have brought different examples to us. And it have to kind of take from time to time, just like spring cleaning, it's a good idea to take a look at our policies, practice, what's going on, and make sure we get our focus back. That's fundamental to good academic excellence and everything else we are trying to achieve. So I just want to thank you for so much, and thank you, my fellow directors, for putting this. That doesn't mean rest of us don't value things. It's just that that's the way to kind of get it on the agenda. So that's something I just want to give you a preview, and look forward to hearing from the community how we can make our schools and communities safe for all our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Hudson.
Yes, I'm super excited about that. That is just so neat, a conversation that we've had for so long as, you know, guardians of our students in our district, and to try to see some forward movement. And I think that's the important thing, that we're always trying to work collectively to make sure all of our babies are safe. I really appreciate you staff coming and hanging in there the whole time, but talking about the safety, the screen time, all of it together. It's all about their well-being, and it's really, really nice and rewarding to have the privilege to see that mirrored back, that other people have the same values, and again, worthy of investment of your time and focus to continue to try to make their lives better. So, and yes, graduation season. I can't believe it's the end of the year. Again, the kids are excited. They get their summer. I had, you know, other things going on this last month, and there's games, and there was orchestra. That was fun. I got to do another teen baby meal and hangout session with them. That's always really fun. It's kind of neat. It was neat to see the pre-K today because you kind of see that full circle with the kiddos and how fast time goes and the generations filter through our district. So it's an honor to serve any small window for any of our youth. So thank you again. Appreciate you.
Director Harnish.
Thank you, Chair. I think every board meeting, we should have dancers and we should have our incoming kindergarten students join us. Tonight was very special indeed. And I too am just really looking forward as we lean into the season of celebrations. I know we're all going to as many as possible, including Crystal Apple this week. And I will have to say, I have been to a couple of family literacy nights recently, and then also some of the kindergarten registration events, which there isn't anything cuter than kids getting to sign up for kindergarten and preschool and really start their academic trajectory. It is super, super fun. So. Also, of course, Budget Committee has been happening, and that is something that I know we've all been working really hard on. I know we've got some pretty challenging situations. On April the 16th, I was able to speak during public comment to the State Board of Education, sharing our common letter to the state asking that we really take a moment as a state and look at our funding formula and how we calculate that so that our schools, all of our schools, not just Salem-Keizer, but all of them have access to the resources that are desperately needed to educate our future. So, with that, I think I will draw mine to a close, and I know next month we'll have lots of things to share about all the events.
Yes, thank you. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week last week for all of our staff. I had the honor and privilege of attending the Pacific Islander graduation celebration and the African American Black graduation celebration. They both were just simply beautiful. I had the privilege of also speaking at North Salem High School at a Black Studies class. I attended Claggett Creek's Multicultural Night, and it was awesome. Food, dancing, just all types of activities. No parking. We need to extend the parking over there. I also had the privilege of speaking to the Black Student Union at Claggett Creek about skincare. So how to take good care of your skin. And I want to say congratulations to all of the Crystal Apple nominees. Thursday night will be a beautiful night. And to each and every one of you, you are a Crystal Apple. It is currently 8:05 p.m. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Now we get to fly.